You want us to inspect Emiya Shirou, my queen? Barghest asked. Yes. After my failed attempt on Shirou a few days ago made me realize that if we try to get to him directly, my little sister, her counterparts, and her knights will come to his aid. Not only that, but his family will come as well along with his friends. Morgan replied. You can say that again. Not to mention that one of them has a way of dealing with you, Bayabinsith said. Indeed, Morgan replied as her mind began to wander off to what happened a few days ago. Alright, I have captured my target. While I did get to see the faces on my sister and her counterpart, which are priceless, I did not expect them to chase me along with others, or did I? Well, either way, I have what I needed. She thought to herself with a smirk. However, she immediately wiped that smirk off her face upon feeling something dreadful coming towards her at fast speeds. She then turned around to see what it was, and in front of her was a bullet. Morgan quickly dodged the bullet, but also dropped Shirou at the same time. What the hell? Normally, bullets would not damage or even scare me, but that bullet just did. How? Just who dares to shoot me from a far distance? Meanwhile in the stands, Kiritsuga let out a sigh of disappointment. Damn it, I missed, he muttered. Back to the present. Morgan let out a sigh. I can't believe that there was someone in the stands that was known for killing magi of any kind. And furthermore, he's a human. Yeah. To think there was a man capable of killing you in the stands, that is our blunder, my queen, Melusine said. Whatever. Anyways, fulfill your duties of inspecting Shirou and study him to see what he is in general. Not only that, but take notice about his magecraft and realty marble as well and figure out what it is and how it works. Eh? Apologies my queen, but isn't it enough just to investigate Chaldea's data files? Why bother spying on him? Bayabinsith asked. Bayabinsith. There's more to than just looking at data files. A person's human nature can't be measured just by data itself, Morgan replied as she elegantly took a sip out of her teacup. Fulfill your duties, my knights. Yes, the fairy knights said in unison. Good. All of you are now dismissed. The fairy knights then left the room, leaving Morgan alone. Now then, I wonder what kind of person you are, Emiya Shirou. To think you would have so much of an influence on my little sister, I can't wait to see what you are. With Barghest. Barghest was walking towards the cafeteria. As she was walking down the hallway, it was then she noticed that Shirou was in the kitchen, preparing today's lunch. Without him noticing her, she was staring at him from the entrance, studying his moves and actions. So Emiya Shirou can cook as well. That's quite an unexpected hobby for a warrior like him. As she was in her thoughts, it was then she smelled the food coming from the kitchen. And it was so good that much to her surprise, it made her stomach growl, much to her embarrassment. What? My stomach is growling? And from the smell of Emiya Shirou's cooking? That's impossible. To think that the smell of cooking coming from him can affect me, how fearsome. And this smell, as much as I don't want to admit it, but it smells good from all the way over there. Just how good is his cooking? As she was in her thoughts, it was then that someone was coming up behind her. Are you okay there, miss? The person said. Barghest nearly jumped and turned around to see Gawain, the Knight of the Sun, and the person she was based on. Oh, hello Gawain. She muttered. Hello there, fairy knight Gawain. What are you doing here? He asked. It's none of your business. She muttered. However, it was then her stomach growled again, giving Gawain the wrong idea. Ah. I see that you are hungry. Don't worry. It's almost lunchtime, so it's perfect. Come on. In an instant, Gawain dragged his fairy knight counterpart into the cafeteria. Queen Shirou. "Oh, hey there Gawain," Shirou replied as he noticed both him and his fairy knight counterpart. "You're the person that was with Morgan earlier." Fairy Knight Gawain let out a sigh. "I'm sorry my queen, but it seems I have failed you. I was supposed to spy on him in secret, but got caught by my original, and my stomach got myself into this mess. Well, let's just hope he does not find out about my mission. Please forgive me." She thought before she began to greet herself not by her real name, but the name she went by. "Yes. My name is Fairy Knight Gawain." "I see. It's nice to meet you, Fairy Knight Gawain," Shirou greeted back. "So, what brings you two here?" "Well, Vargas was about to say, but was interrupted by Gawain. "We're here to have a meal, my queen. Isn't that right, my Fairy Knight counterpart?" Gawain said with a smile on his face. Vargas sighed again. "Guess I'll go along with whatever my original said," she thought to herself before going along with the conversation. "Yes. Very well. Give me a moment." Shirou then went back to the kitchen and whipped up something for the two to eat. Eventually, Shirou was done cooking for them. "Here you go," he said as he handed them their meals. Both Gawain and Vargas looked at their meals. While Gawain looked at his meal with a smile on his face, Vargas looked at her meal with interest. "So, this is his cooking. The portions seem small, but to humans, that is a regular-sized meal. How does he get strength, despite cooking and eating such portions?" She then began to take a bite out of her meal, and when she did, she experienced a taste she never had before. This taste, it's delicious. I can't believe that something like this exists in this world. As much as I don't want to admit it, this is good, and I can't get enough of it. Eventually, Vargas was done with her meal, and she let out a sigh of relief. "Well, is it good?" Gawain asked. "Well, it's not bad at least. Although I do have one complaint." "What is it?" Shirou asked. "The portions are not enough." With Baobin Sith. Fairy Knight Tristan, or rather Baobin Sith, was walking down the hallway, looking to see where Shirou was while minding her own business at the same time. "I can't believe that mother ordered us to spy on Emiya Shirou. Is he that much of an interesting person? Even though he did have a Fey object embedded inside of him for 10 years, he's still a human. Although it would make sense if he was turned into something else because of that, well, either way, that's what mother told me to do. Now I wonder where he is." As Baobin Sith continued to walk down the hallway to look for Shirou, she eventually found him in one of Chaldea's rooms, fixing something. He seems to be fixing something, but what though, she thought as she looked at him from afar. "Alright. Now that I fixed the radiator, I can give it to Da Vinci now," Shirou said as he stood up and picked up the fixed radiator. Soon, he left the room while carrying the fixed radiator, not knowing that Baobin Sith was following him. He seems to be able to fix something like that, let's see what else he is capable of. Baobin Sith continued to follow Shirou up. As she continued to follow him, she saw him doing various requests from other servants. One request was a training match. Another request was being in an interview. Another request was to help someone with fixing another broken object, like before. And to her surprise, attending a tea party made up of little girls. Baobin Sith was slightly appalled with the number of requests he was receiving and doing at the same time. However, at the same time, it also slightly irked her. Because seeing him work hard for others reminded her of what she used to be, before the Fae betrayed and savagely attacked her. Why does he continue to work for others? Does he not realize that he'll end up being used before discarded like trash? Just how can he keep doing this? It's frustrating me, she thought to herself. "Oh? You seem to be looking at him deeply," a new voice said. Upon hearing the new voice, Baobin Sith turned around to see Tristan. Tristan, what are you doing here? Oh, nothing. I was just walking by and happened to see you looking at my queen. Just what are you up to? Tristan asked. It's none of your business. Anyways, answer me this. How is that guy over there able to keep working for others? I mean, the thought about it sickens me. Now answer. Tristan cleared his throat for a moment. That is because it is his nature as a human being. Huh? His nature as a human being? Yes. From what I know, my queen throughout his life helped various people in many places. And it was all just to keep a promise to himself to meet our king again, no matter how long it took. Bea bin Sith was stunned for a moment. All of that, just for a promise? Yes. Quite romantic, I must say. I see. Bea bin Sith then continued to look at Shirou. All of that for a promise, sounds stupid if I might say. Maybe I'll observe him for a little longer. With Melusine. Alright, I wonder where Emiya Shirou could be. She thought as she was walking down the hallway, searching for him because of Morgan's orders. Eventually, she found him, practicing his skills in the training room. And to her delight, he was alone. Yes. He's alone right now. This is a perfect chance to test his skills to see how he caught my queen's attention. Soon, Melusine went into the training room. Hey, she said, grabbing Shirou's attention. Shirou stopped swinging his Muramasa blade for a moment and turned around to see Melusine. Oh, hey, what's your name? Oh yeah, we haven't properly introduced ourselves yet. My name is Fairy Knight Lancelot, Melusine replied, not wanting to give her true name to him. I see. Well, as you probably know, I'm Emiya Shirou. Nice to meet you. Yes. Nice to meet you too. Shirou nodded in reply. So, what brings you here? Well, I want to test my skills against someone, so I came here to train. And by chance, you happen to be here, which is a good thing, because I want to have a practice spar with someone, and you seem to be perfect for it. Especially after what happened a few days ago. I can see why. Shirou thought as he can remember the number of times he had to deal with challenge spars from other servants. So, I will ask you, will you spar with me? Melusine asked. Shirou was silent for a moment before answering Melusine's question. Sure. I don't mind. I could use a warm-up actually. Great. Let's get started then. Shirou then unsheathed his Muramasa blade while Melusine unlocked her twin arondites from her gauntlets. Ready? Melusine asked. Yes, Shirou replied. And in an instant, the two lunged towards each other, with their swords clashing against each other. For a moment, the two were stuck together as their blades were locked against each other before Shirou and Melusine moved away towards each other. Melusine folded her blades and charged at Shirou with a punch, which he dodged effortlessly. However, she was not done yet as she began to throw a storm of punches at him. Wow. Even though she carries the name Lancelot, she fights differently from him. Shirou thought as he kept dodging her punches. Melusine then stopped her punches and unfolded her twin arondites again, forcing Shirou to block them. Quickly, Shirou slightly pushed Melusine back and began an assault of rapid slashes on Melusine. As Shirou was swinging, it was then Melusine jumped and staring to swing one of her gauntlets before lunging towards Shirou, forcing him to dodge while creating a tiny crater in the end. Good reflexes. And he can keep up with my speed. Melusine thought before she quickly turned around while unfolding her twin arondites and swung at Shirou again. However, Shirou then blocked her attack and forced her back a bit. Well, time to switch weapons. Shirou quickly sheathed his Muramasa blade and brought out his hands. Trace on. In an instant, Myojinjuri Muramasa, version Concho and Bakuya appeared in his hands, and he rushed towards Melusine. He then began to swing his dual blades at Melusine's twin Arondites while she did the same as well. At that moment, the two were in a furious dance of sword swings, each blade clashing against each other on contact from every swing. Eventually, the two jumped away from each other, gathering distance. "Well, I'll admit, this is quite an interesting fight we're having here," Melusine said. "I'll take that a compliment," Shirou replied as he was taking soft breaths. "So, you want to continue?" Melusine let out a smirk. "Yes." And the two clashed again. "So, what are all of your thoughts of Emiya Shirou?" Morgan asked. "Well, for me, he's quite the fighter. He managed to keep up with me, even without that mystic code of his or his noble phantasms. Although I did hope for him to use them," Melusine said. "I see. Barghest? Well, despite his strength as a heroic spirit, he has a soft hobby that I did not expect." "Really? What kind of hobby was it?" "Well, it was cooking meals, to be honest. And furthermore, I heard from my panhuman history counterpart that he's been doing it for quite some time, and we did not notice. Not to mention that the meals were good, I'll admit." "Huh? You are admitting that his meals are good? That's a first," Baobin Sith said as she was laughing. "Shut up, Baobin Sith," Barghest muttered. "I see. Quite interesting indeed, not to mention this is the first time I've ever heard of it. Anyways, Baobin Sith?" Baobin Sith slowly stopped laughing and let out a sigh before she gave her answer. "Honestly, he kind of irks me." "What do you mean by that?" Morgan asked. "Well, the fact that he's able to do so many requests from other servants so easily irks me. Just how is he able to do all that with a smile on his face completely creeps me out." Morgan let out a small sigh. "I see. So, he's like Baobin Sith, before she was betrayed by those damn Fae," she thought to herself, before continuing the conversation. "Anything else you want to talk about Baobin Sith?" "Yes. There's also a reason why he's acting like this." "Really? Indulge me." "The reason why he acts like this is because of a promise he made to himself. And that promise is to see your sister again." Morgan was slightly appalled from Baobin Sith's explanation before she composed herself. "I see. Anyways, thank all of you for your hard work. I appreciate it." All three fairy knights lowered their heads in gratitude. "Thank you, Your Majesty," they said in unison. Morgan nodded and got off her chair. "Now then, if all of you will excuse me, I have a small visit I need to do." "Eh? Are you about that, my queen?" Barghest asked. "Yes. And don't worry, it'll just be a small chat. That is all." Soon, Morgan left the room she was in with her knights and began her search for Shirou. "Alright, now let's see where he is. And I hope my sister and her counterparts are not there to stop me." Eventually, she managed to find him walking down a nearby hallway. "Perfect. He's alone right now, which makes things perfect for me to talk to him." Meanwhile, Shirou noticed Morgan was coming up towards him and nearly turned back for a moment. "Morgan. Relax. I'm not going to pull off something like last time. I just want to have a small chat with you," Morgan said. "A chat?" "Yes. You see, for a while now, I've been wondering what kind of person you are since you have caught the attention of my sister and her counterparts. And now after hearing what I heard from my knights, you are quite the enigma. To think that you went on a journey just to see my sister again. Is there a problem with that?" Shirou asked, not sure to feel insulted or not. "No. Rather, it makes you more interesting than before," she said as she got closer to Shirou, placing a finger on his chin. Good luck, because I have my eye on you, and those meals of yours," she said before she began to walk away, leaving Shirou alone. Shirou let out a gulp. "I got a bad feeling about this." Meanwhile, Arturia and her counterparts could not help but have a bad feeling in their stomachs.